Strap in, boys, we're going to Florida. Woo! Making a key lime pie is honestly very simple. All you need is sweetened condensed milk, 3 egg yolks, and some beautiful green fresh squeezed limes.
Wait, just limes?
So for a key lime pie, you really do need key limes. But I can't get those in my area. Excuse me as I dip into a depression over not having exotic fruits. But for this, we'll just be using regular limes. I really don't think it'll be that much of a difference. Just all you Floridians, please just don't hate me, please. To make the pie filling, all we're going to need is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, half a cup of fresh squeezed lime juice, 3 egg yolks, and the zest of 2 limes. With a fork, I'm going to stir that up. Make sure not to overstir this though. Once it gets nice and homogeneous, I'm going to cover it in plastic wrap and I'm going to let it sit at room temperature until we have our graham cracker crust. For this crust, we're going to need an entire box of graham crackers. You'll need to crush it up in a food processor or a Vitamix. Or you could do what I did and embrace your inner caveman. Once we have our dusty grahams, we're going to add in half a cup of brown sugar, a little bit of fine sea salt, and 3/4 cups of unsalted melted butter. Give that crust a mix in there until you got some sandy mixing right there. To a 9-inch pie pan, we're going to add in our graham cracker crust. We're just going to shape it to this pan. Once we've done that, we're going to add it to an oven brought up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and let that bake for 8 minutes. Once it's done, we're going to put on a cooling rack and let it cool down completely before adding in our filling. Once it's done, it's ready to go. But before we do that, let's get into a brief history of Florida Key West and the key lime pie. The history of the key lime pie is a little unclear. The legend goes that a cook only known as Aunt Sally made the pie for the rich man who she worked for. She made the key lime pie under his employment in the late 1800s. He later constructed the Curry Mansion, named after himself, which still stands to this day as the Curry Mansion Inn. Some historians doubt this origin story though. Next, we have the story of sponge fishermen who would use lime juice, sweet condensed milk, egg, and smear it on bread to make the dessert. This was what they did since they didn't have refrigeration on the boats. However, the evidence for this story is also very scarce. We didn't start really getting documentation of the key lime pie in the Florida Keys until the 1930s when the runner of a key lime pie festival put out a call for the earliest key lime pie recipes in the area. This was in response to the idea that the recipe actually came from New York when Borden, the inventors of sweetened condensed milk, released a cookbook with almost the exact same recipe for the pie, but it was lemon pie and not a key lime pie. So people started sending in their recipes that had been passed down through their families for generations. It seems that what might lead to the biggest indicator that the pie was a staple of the Keys is this article from 1918, which describes a story of a night out with homemade lime pie specifically mentioned as a winner of a dessert contest they had. Even though this seems very minute, it predates any written recipes from the area, and stories from history is one of the best ways to get an idea for the day-to-day lives of past people. Stories being written that include the pie, also not making it sound odd or strange, shows that the lime pie was part of the lives of the people. However the pie came to pass, I'm glad we have it now to enjoy. But that was a brief history of Florida's key lime pie. Now, let's get back to the recipe. Now that the pie crust is completely cooled, we can add in our pie filling. We're going to just scoop it in. I'm going to use a rubber spatula to smooth out the top, and then I'm going to add it to an oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Once that's done, I'm going to put it on a cooling rack, let it come to room temperature, and let that pie chill in the fridge for overnight or at minimum 1 hour. Now to make a homemade whipped cream. For that, you're going to need a metal bowl that's been chilling in the freezer for 20 minutes. Then we're gonna add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and a couple drops of vanilla extract. Whip that at high speed until you get medium or stiff peaks. Oh my gosh, just look at how beautiful those peaks are. Transfer the whipped cream to a piping bag, and then we'll start decorating our pie. This is your blank canvas. Decorate it however you like. I'm going to use a little bit of zest just to make it decorative, and some lime slices, which when eating is just going to be taken off the pie anyway. But man, just look at the aesthetic. It is beautiful, and I can't wait to dig in. We have our pie, but first, new camera angle. Whoa! But enough gawking at our technological advances. Let's try this pie. This is definitely one of the richest pies I've ever tasted, just period. It's so good. The lime juice and the lime zest come out perfectly. There is a good presence of lime in this pie. But I definitely love the whipped cream topping on this. I know a lot of people use meringue on this. I'm not a huge fan of meringue, honestly. It's just not my thing. So, I'll leave it out. I really like the flavor of a whipped cream a lot better. It's a lot softer. It's a lot lighter. Now let's talk about this graham cracker crust. Do not sleep on the graham cracker crust. We in this house support the graham cracker crust. It's solid and it holds together, but it also has a nice crumbly, kind of a cookie-like texture. It's really delicious. The brown sugar and the cinnamon, it just goes so well with the entire pie. The entire pie just comes together and really forms something special. Every element just comes together and just forms something really special. Oh my goodness, I cannot sing its praises enough. But give this pie a try, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later.